Hi, I'm Jan Waldman from Entertainment Plus, and we're at the Rumson Rum Factory today. And our guest today is Eric Glass. Hello, Eric.
How are you, Jan?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm very good. Pleasure to be here.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started and who you got started with?
I can. So, Rumson's Rum, the idea for this was actually thought of about 2009. My oldest dog, who actually just walked by us, Goliath, is actually the inspiration for the logo. I've been in consumer healthcare for 15 years, was getting tired of consumer healthcare, trying to think of things that I loved and really wanted to get into. I'm a sipping rum drinker. I've been a sipping rum drinker for a good 10 years. Big fan of the Bahamas. I go there every single year. Obviously a fan of boxers and the whole romanticized version of pirates. So I was trying to take those interests together and think about what I could do. So it really ended up being, I was going to open a micro distillery. 2010, I was getting ready to quit my job. Had a couple accidents, back surgeries, and I didn't quit until 2012. So February 2012, I quit with the intent of opening a micro distillery. Pirate Dog brand, which actually is the maker of Rumson's Rum. So.
Now, there was something really cute I read in an article that was done on you in the North Shore magazine about a little boy thought it was you were making dog poison because of the logo on the bottle.
Yes, I was at the Corinthian Yacht Club doing an event there. Parked the car out in the road where it could be seen, and the little boy's like, "Look at this, Dad, dog poison." He's like, "I don't think that's dog poison." So.
No, it's not dog poison. It's very good. Tell me a little bit about the process. You don't distill your rum here, or do you? Can you tell me about that?
I do not distill. I went to distilling school.
And where was that?
In Chicago. I was ready to buy some equipment. The stills are about $250,000 a piece. I was going to need several. The guy selling me the stills asked me what I wanted to make. I'm like, I want to make rum, good rum, sipping rum, like Zacapa, an old Diplomatico. And he's like, I don't think you're going to be able to make what you like. I'm like, I quit my job. So he really talked me out of it. And this is probably $1 million deal for him. So I came home and reevaluated my plan and really started thinking about how I could do this. I reached out to India, China, South America, all America, the islands and everybody. And many are willing to work with me, and I can make a unique blend now. So what I do is I source from Trinidad. They're all unique blends for me. I have a 5-year-old rum, a Grand Reserve, which is a blend of 5 through 23-year-old rums, which is in that Zacapa world, the sipping world that I was drinking. A spiced rum, which is based on a 2-year-old rum, and then a coffee rum.
Now, I heard that you have 2 gold medals on the Grand Reserve. Is this correct?
We do. We entered the 50 best. It's a blind taste test competition. It's out of New York City. We have a double gold in aged rums on the Grand Reserve. So that would be the world of all the other aged rums. And we also have a gold on our 5-year-old rum.
Very nice. Now, how many hours a week are you investing in this? Because any startup of any type is all-consuming.
The first day we started batching, so we blended and bottled, we were here to 2:30 in the morning. The second day we were here to 1:30 in the morning. I typically, when I come here, I'll be honest, I'm not here at 7. I usually get here at 8 or 9. I stayed about 9 at night.
It's a long day.
It is. We have events, so we typically have events Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we're often working on Saturday as well. I have a ton of paperwork I have to do for the state and federal government, so that tends to be a Saturday thing.
Now, tell me, in the Bahamas, what was what made you want to do this? What rum in the Bahamas got you going on this?
It wasn't really the rum in the Bahamas. It was more the mentality of drinking rum within the Bahamas. I've been going to the Abacos with Steve, in particular, who just walked in, for about 25 years. His wife used to have a property down in the Bahamas. I used to go down with him. We actually rebuilt the property once. I fell in love with the Bahamas. I love the Abacos. It's outer islands. It's small little cottages you can rent. You island hop. So the whole mentality of living in the heat and having pina coladas and that sort of mentality is what I really enjoy.
And you brought it here, which is great, to Salem, Massachusetts.
I did.
It's great for the city of Salem.
Salem's a fantastic place to be. They have been very supportive here. We have a variance on this building to get a different zoning than was initially here. The history for Salem is fantastic, in particularly a rum history. If you think of East India trading and what used to go on here, the whole triangle trade, it's a very much a part of the roots here in Salem as well as Massachusetts. We wouldn't have a United States probably without rum. That's where the Revolutionary War really began. So
I mean, in the past, it was used long ago for trade, money.
Consumption and trade, yeah. It was our big trade item. So we used to ship it back to England, and England would go down to Africa, would come over to Caribbean, then back up. Probably 80% of it's probably stayed here anyway.
No, I think we need to meet the two dogs that are running around by our feet. So, which one is this?
This one is Rumson.
Okay.
Rumson is actually the what inspired the name. Even though the bottle does look like him, what inspired the logo is actually Goliath. Yeah, I got Rumson after I already started the business name. I actually got challenged by another company, and I had to change my original name. And in the process, I got a second dog, and I named the dog after getting in the business of rum. So I was trying to think of a name for the rum, my dog. And in my name, in my family, there's a lot of Emersons, son of Emery. I'm like, I should do son of rum. So becoming Rumson. Goliath is actually the likeness.
It does look more like him.
Yeah, there's not a big difference, but I had him when I was drawing the logo. I didn't have Rumson, so Rumson ended up becoming the name. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
So I think we need to meet your partner.
Yeah.
Now we have Steve Orn here with us. He's the VP of Rumson Rum. Now tell me a little bit about how you got involved.
So I think we might have been out fishing or whatever, and he said, hey, I've been collecting these great rums, and look at what's happening in the distiller world. It's really intriguing. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, you start doing the research, and I'm in. So the idea of doing a business with Eric was really appealing, but I've always sort of been on the entrepreneurial side, owning my own companies. So it was perfect timing, great idea, and a good partner.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now, what do you do here in the business? What are your hands-on jobs?
Jen, we're a startup, right? So there's two of us essentially, and we bottle rum, we drive the forklift, we ship stuff in and out. So we do a little bit of everything from maintaining the site. But my primary function since we started has been more around the sales. So a lot of knocking on doors, a lot of building relationships in the restaurant, bar, and retail levels. And then we're doing a lot of events where we sponsor, for example, sailing regattas or golf tournaments, a lot of philanthropic sort of donations to charities where we have a presence. So I've been doing a lot on the event management and participation side.
Now, do you guys enjoy getting out there and going to all these places and pushing the rum?
It blurs work and play together. I mean, we're both new to this industry. We weren't, on the bar side, we weren't in spirits in any way. So for me, it's great. We're spending a lot of time in cool venues, working on cocktail programs, probably drinking more than I used to and gaining a little more weight than I should. But yeah, we really do enjoy.
But happy's good, so.
Happy's really good,
and working with a good friend. For your distribution, you guys have gotten this out, your product out very well so far. What do you hope to see in one more year? What's your dream?
In 1 year? Well,
6 months? Whatever.
6 months. Well, coverage through all New England. It'd be great to go skiing and whatever mountain we pick, have the product available. It would be great to have sort of the cash flow to support some marketing to just drive brand awareness. Right now it's all kind of grassroots, which is great. We have good visibility. Making money would be a really cool thing, you know what I mean? When the business reaches a point that it's really driving the ability to hire additional people. But I just hope we're still having a lot of fun, and I think there's so much room for growth. We found ourselves returning from the vineyard. We were there for a festival. And we were on the ferry with Dan Aykroyd, who happens to have a vodka company, not to plug his brand, but he's got a great brand, Crystal Head. And he said he's in 70 countries, and he's about 10 years in. But that kind of started the wheels spinning. Wouldn't that be cool to build a global brand? Like right now we're looking national.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful goal.
Yeah. Right.
I like that. That'd be great. Yeah. And if you could do as well as Dan Aykroyd, how bad could that be?
I know. Maybe we'll start making movies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're on TV now, so.
Hey, it's our start.
Now, which one is your favorite? Do you have a favorite, or are you just tied so closely to it you can't separate them?
Well, they're like kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Today,
I've tried them, so I can agree to that.
I mean, the Grand Reserve is really special. I mean, to be able to sip that spirit and enjoy it and relax with it. But on the cocktail side, I love the classic clean cocktails that the rum makes. So daiquiris, mojitos, ginger beer and mojito together. We called that the perfect storm, I think.
Yeah.
Now we're coming into the holiday season, so hot cider and our spiced rum is outrageously good. And
I was thinking eggnog,
eggnog too, but coffee, rum, and eggnog.
Yeah, that's what, that's
Did he say
what
that?
Eric
Yeah.
said.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like an unusual sort of a type.
I didn't think of that one, but he suggested it. So.
Yeah, so I sort of danced around the favorite. Probably, the Grand Reserve is the most special, but they're all great. Yeah.
Well, when I tried them, I was just, each one had a very distinct and separate taste.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun sampling to the public. Not many people sip rum straight, so first that's an eye-opening experience, and then to get the reactions, it's great.
Yes, it is. It is. It's nice. Who came up with the swag? I love your swag. The T-shirts, the caps. I went online and looked.
The creative guy.
Oh, right. What do you have to say about the swag?
The swag is supposed to be living up the lifestyle of the brand as well. So if you notice, most of this is distressed. It's not because the dog had chewed it. It's vintage, lived in, much like the experience of the people we're going after. So, you should be lived in. You should be enjoying your days.
So I think we're going to take a look at some of the going-ons here.
So the equipment that we use primarily here is we have a scale blending tank. We usually do about a 100-gallon batch. It could be up to 200 gallons, but we usually do 100 gallons. All our blends now are done by weight, so we're consistent time in and time out. We have a pneumatic sterile pump for transferring stuff from tank to tank, bottling tank back there. The rums that require it, we have final filtration here, so this actually requires a change in the filters. So we do a initial filtration, but there's also the ability to do chill filtration, which we just run it through. We use a third tank. We also use really high-end reverse osmosis water here. So rather than just bringing in Salem water, we got an RO system, so everything is super pure. It's better than like Poland spring water. No taste, just very good water actually. If you drink straight from this, it's very good. So we use this in all our final proofing and blending.
Can you tell me about the company? Any horror stories? Any funny stories?
Did you tell her the pirate story?
I did not tell the pirate story.
I want to hear this one.
Well, I heard you talking about the Bahamas. And a dream of Eric's has always been to take his boat to the Bahamas. Usually we get there, we rent a boat. So the story kind of begins with us trailering his boat from New Jersey down to Jupiter, Florida. So we leave Jupiter really early morning with the idea that we'll scoot 50 miles or so across the Gulf into, on the Atlantic into West End, where Freeport is in Grand Bahama Island. So that went relatively as planned. Yeah, the weather was a little worse than we thought. We thought we had clear sailing, but we were bouncing a lot.
And
it wasn't
how
the
many
most
feet
comfortable.
is the boat?
26.
Okay.
We arrive into West End, clear customs, and we think, hey, we've made it to the Bahamas. This is great. Let's get beer. It's like, so where's the beer store at?
And cigars.
And cigars. And because what else do you do when you get to the Bahamas?
Exactly.
So the beer and cigar store is in town, like a mile and a half away. So a gentleman on a bike says, "Yo, man, I go get you beer." So we give him $20. He rides to town. He comes back. We tip him. Thank you very much, and we get underway. And clear sailing for 25 minutes. We're like, "Hey, isn't this great?" And the water's like azure blue, just beautiful water. And we're just real excited to be there. And then we're right back into the chop. And our next waypoint was Mangrove Key, which is how many miles outside of?
It's 90 miles from Jupiter.
So it's a way. So we get there, and we're like, oh, good, like our waypoint. Let's pull over and straighten the boat because things had popped out of the locker. And as we did this, another boat came across our stern, and it was the first kind of center console boat like ours out there. So we were like, hey, look, other guys are out doing this too.
Friends.
Friends, right. Yeah. But we also couldn't figure out like why they were there.
They were
right?
going in an odd direction. So they went by Mangrove Key and went south back towards Grand Bahama where there's no water. Having looked at the charts, I'm like, maybe they went fishing. And then they turned, and their course now was to T-bone us. One of the guys is waving, like maybe they're trying to sell us drugs. I'm thinking, we don't really want drugs. So we speed up a little bit so they're no longer going to T-bone us, and they're now running parallel for a few hundred yards. All of them are waving. We speed up a little more, and they're not getting the point that we don't want their drugs. We just want to go.
This wasn't smooth sailing. We were, at this point,
Three
more
foot,
out
5
of the
foot
water
drop.
than in the water. So they're catching up. We're assessing our inventory. Like, what do we have to defend ourselves on this boat?
I brought
And-
a piece of hickory.
A hickory, like a bat, and we have a fish gaff and a flare gun. We're like, all right, we really just have to pray nothing breaks. And it was like that for a good half an hour, just hanging on, looking over our shoulders. Eventually, we outpowered them, and they kind of tailed off. It was a long ride, so we were relieved to finally get to where we were going. Some time passes, and we're sort of now relaxing a little bit into vacation mode.
And you're on land now.
We're on a
Okay,
key, a
okay.
small key. We were at Nipper's Bar and Grill on Great Guanakee, and we're up at the bar having a little bit of lunch. And the constable comes up, and they dress very formal down there. And so he comes up, and he's all official, and he's having his lunch. And Eric goes over and says, "I just want to run something by you." So shared the story, and he basically shared that he had been transferred from that West End area on
Chub
Grand
Key.
Bahama, Chub Key. So in that area, which he knew really well. And he's like, what happened was the guy that went into town to get the beer radioed his buddies, and that they were absolutely carrying automatic weapons, and had they caught you, they would take your boat, no questions would be asked, you'd be overboard, and that would be it. So we were pretty thankful hearing that we got.
Well, you can't have a good rum story without a pirate.
I know, right? So that kind of fit into the whole like life lived, life enjoyed,
right,
and share the stories.
Right, which is your
and
which is your motto.
Life lived, life enjoyed is a tagline that you'll see on every bottle. But then we also have share the stories.
Smooth, sweet, memorable. So smooth, sweet, memorable is a tribute to the rum and to the people. So the people should be smooth, charismatic. They should be nice and approachable. And hopefully their stories are memorable because they've lived life.
I'd like to thank the gentlemen from Rumson's, Eric Glass, Gunnar
you.
Lamb, Steve Orn. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is good.
Very good.
It is good.